Hello and welcome to Veg. I'm your host, Kristen Zangline. Veg is a show that is going to focus solely on plant-based cooking, which means there will be no meat, dairy, or eggs, but what you will find is plenty of fruits, vegetables, and grains. And on today's show, I'm going to be making a spicy corn chowder with a side of some easy dinner rolls. So stick with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're going to get started on our easy dinner rolls because they're going to have to rise for a little bit and then we're going to put them in the oven and bake. And while we're doing that, we can work on our corn chowder. So to get started, we're going to use a mix. I use a stand mixer. I use my KitchenAid. You can mix it by hand or however you usually mix your dough. I'm going to start with 2 cups of bread flour. Don't have to be too exact. Baking purists would tell you that you have to really measure. I find they turn out just fine if I'm a little over or under. I'm not that precise. Okay, 2 cups. We're gonna add the rest of our dry ingredients, which are 1 packet of yeast, rapid rise yeast, very important, rapid rise yeast. And this is a 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, I'm just going to give that a little stir with my dough hook. We're going to set that aside. Now we are going to heat up 1/2 cup of almond milk. And we also need a 1/2 cup of water, or 1/4 cup of water. 1/4 cup of water. So we are going to just give that a little heat. Now we're going to heat up our butter. Get this. Okay. We're going to want to heat our milk, water, and butter only until about 110 to 120 degrees because we don't want to kill our yeast if it's any hotter, and if it's not that hot then it won't activate the yeast. So it really has to be between 110 and 120 degrees. And when I say butter, I mean it's a vegan butter, and you can use the brand either Earth Balance. That's what I can find easily in our area. That's pretty much the only vegan butter that I can find in our area. So we're just going to let that warm up. Okay, it's about at 100 right now. goes. It's getting up there. You can do this in the microwave too, if you're not afraid of the microwave, if you like. I just think it's a little easier to control. Okay, so we're right where we want to be. I'm going to just gradually add our liquid mixture to our dry. So this is going to take a little bit longer. Just give it a little mix, get it started, get a nice dough ball. Okay, got a nice dough ball going. Now we're just going to let that mix until it forms into a nice dough ball. I absolutely forgot that we needed 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, so now I have my 2 tablespoons of pure cane sugar, which should have been added probably into the dry mixture, but I forgot it, so now I'm going to add it now. Okay, I don't know if you can see this or not, probably not. I will make it so you can. All right, the dough is kind of sticking to the bottom here. We don't want it that sticky, so I'm gonna add a little bit, just enough flour to get it to form into a nice solid ball that's not sticking. And we don't want it so dry that it kind of crumbles. So I'm just gonna add a very little bit at a time. That was probably about a tablespoon. And I'm going to add another tablespoon. Okay, so now we have to take our dough and divide it into 12 even pieces. Get all that good stuff off there. Okay, we're going to cut it into 12 even pieces now. So do about a third, another third. And then cut each of these in half. It's a little sticky. They don't have to be perfectly sized. Just get them as close as you can. Okay, and now I have a greased, I believe this is an 8-inch. It's a kind of a shallow dish. You can use a cake pan too, that'll work. I just have this with some cooking spray. You can butter it. If you want to just use butter, that'd be good too. And form them into little balls. Put them in the pan. When these rise, they are going to puff up and this whole thing will be filled. It'll fill in and you will have big, fluffy, delicious dinner rolls. Okay, we're gonna squeeze one more in here. Okay, now we have our dinner rolls all evenly spaced in this nice little dish. We are going to cover it and let the balls rise till they're about doubled. So and that will take about 30 to 45 minutes. Don't check on them too much, because if you do, then the cold air will come in and then it will take a little bit longer for them to rise. So just be patient. And after 30 minutes, check them, see how nice and fluffy they are. If they're about double the size, then they're good to pop into the oven. So when we come back, we are going to start on our spicy corn chowder. Welcome back. We're going to get started on our spicy corn chowder. This recipe could not be easier. It's quick and it's simple and it's super easy and delicious. Okay, we're going to chop up 1 rib of celery. We're going to put it into our pot. So you can see that. Now we need half of a medium onion. You can use white or yellow, whatever you prefer. And just dice it up. I'm having onion problems. Okay. Oh, yep, there it is. And put that into your pot. Woo, that is making me cry. Okay, now we're going to cut up our potatoes into nice little bite-sized chunks. onion and celery are starting to cook. Okay, we have our onion all nice and chopped up. We also need 1 chipotle in adobo sauce. This is a hot pepper, which I'm not really a huge fan of, but my husband loves, so I do this for him. If you use too much of it, it will make it super spicy, intolerable corn chowder. But this is okay for my family and I. We have to cut up our chipotle in adobo sauce. Just 1 pepper. That's all you need is 1 pepper. Unless you love spice, then you can use more than that, or even add a little bit more of the adobo sauce that comes in the can. And you can find these chipotle and adobo sauce canned chili peppers in the international section of your grocery store. I don't want to touch it. It's hot. You really want to cut this up. You don't want to eat a big chunk of this. And if you want just a regular corn chowder, feel free to just leave the pepper out. That looks like it's good. Just needs a little stir. You may have noticed that I did not use any olive oil to cook with. I like to just use water. You do a little bit of water and it helps deglaze the pan and you get all this wonderful yummy flavors. I'm just not a big fan of cooking with oil. I don't think it's necessary. I don't like, you can taste the oil and the texture, like the kind of greasiness sometimes if you use too much, and it still burns on the pan. I just never, some people can cook with it really well. I never mastered that. But I can do the water saute. That's really easy. Now we're going to add our potatoes and our pepper. And we're going to saute this for about 10 minutes. A little more water. That smells amazing. And we're going to add 1 to 2 bay leaves. I like to add 2 because mine are a little bit smaller. And then just keep stirring occasionally. Add a little more water if it looks like it's starting to stick or brown too much. Then after this is cooked for about 5 minutes, you can add your 10 ounces of frozen corn. Oops, run away. Popcorn. Okay, we're just gonna let that cook for a little bit, and while we're waiting, I'm going to make a little garnish. It's supposed to have parsley in this recipe, but I don't have parsley, so I am just going to finely mince up some kale, just for a little green color on top. You can't go wrong with adding a little kale to like every dish. When my kids were younger and they refused to eat green vegetables, I used to put spinach in everything. I put it in pancakes, waffles, muffins. They didn't care if things looked green. As long as they tasted good, they were okay with it. Okay, now I'm going to mince up my kale. Okay, that'll look like, and then you can tear it too. This looks like it'll make a nice little garnish on top of our corn chowder. Just put that back into my little serving dish here. Okay, checking on our corn, potatoes. All right, I think we can add our 2 cups of low sodium vegetable stock. Give that a good stir. Okay, we are going to cover this and let it sit for probably about 10 minutes. We can check on it and stir it. We just need we need this to soften the potatoes. That's basically all we have to do, and then this dish is done. So easy. And here's our lid. Okay, we're gonna bring that to a boil, and then I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit just so it doesn't boil over. So I've just pulled these delicious dinner rolls fresh out of the oven, and they are golden brown and buttery, and oh, they look so good. So let's just put them on a plate here. They just pull right apart. Two, and then we have our corn chowder, and there you have one comforting meal on a cold, chilly day. Thank you for watching Veg. Join me again next time for more delicious plant-based cooking.